the crackling of a campfire, a chirping choir of crickets, the intense mating calls of squirrels, and the crunch of a Hoplivian double IPA can against someone's forehead, followed by the moistest belch heard this side of the Palomino Highlands. These are the sounds of a woodlander. Whether you're looking for an SUV to store your vintage penny farthing bike, or looking to get freaky with as many women in Davis as you can, the woodlander can fit anything, all while telling people you live for the great outdoors, even if the only tent you can pitch requires a special blue pill. With near-average in-class fuel economy, slightly more storage than the Sultan, and winner of the Two Moms Car of the Year award 6 years running, the Karin Woodlander is a choice you can make with confidence. So what are you waiting for? Nature's calling, and Karin has your answer.
There comes a time in life when a four-door sedan just isn't enough for the family unit. With the decline of the station wagon, you had to either trade in your dignity for a fully loaded minivan, or buy an oversized gas-guzzling monstrosity just to tell people you still wore the pants. But in the modern era, or at least by the 90s, consumers had more options. Enter the Karin Woodlander. Is it a crossover? Is it a wagon? Is it a compact SUV? Yes. Like every good concept, it's all about time and place. They tried it in the 80s. I can't remember if it was Skysder or the Class A, but it failed miserably. But then, just 10 years later, when the world decided it needed these sorts of vehicles, they caught on like a San Andreas wildfire, with Karin leading the charge. But while a Woodlander has always been classified as a compact SUV, or a C-segment SUV if you live in a continent that actually still makes sedans, the original model was something else entirely. Karin split the census right down the middle, with a crossover that didn't look like a commercial tank or a beefed-up minivan desperately trying to prove itself. This is because the original Woodlanders were SUVs in the same way a koala is a bear, or a vodka screwdriver is a cocktail. And somehow not an acceptable breakfast drink. Anyways, the Woodlander is a station wagon standing on its tippy toes. But for a company that made sedans, utes, and hatches, they did an outstanding job. They even made the doors pillarless. The closest competitor it had was a monstrosity, when Meibatsu surgically removed a third of their gargantuan SUV to call it compact. Whereas Karin built its Woodlander from the base of its Sultan platform. Nice try, Meibatsu. When it came to looks, the Woodlander played it safe as an unassuming SUV with wagon accessibility. Soft and inviting to a family of 5, with plenty of space for stick-figure families and coexist bumper stickers. The taillights on these things were also oversized searchlights with red lenses. At night, these things could actually paint the whole town red when you came to a stoplight. But to the enthusiast, if you look closely, the Woodlander had plenty of potential to tune it, slam it, or total it. All three if you wanted to put that all-wheel drive to the test in a snowy parking lot. And it's hard to blame people for wanting to squeeze the most out of their off-road station wagon SUV amalgamations. When Karin fitted the Woodlander with a twin-turbo boxer engine nearly identical to that of the Sultan, it became known as the taller Sultan. This meant the Woodlander was a force to be reckoned with on the roads and dirt trails. Right? Not really. This thing is slow. So slow it feels that the transmission is having an identity crisis in between the first and second gears. The turbo lag feels like purgatory, it's top-heavy, and handles on par with the much heavier Bravado Dorado. Obviously Karin wasn't looking to set world records, but it didn't hold a candle to its older brother. Still, that didn't stop people from trying to even out the playing field. In fact, the Woodlander is a popular choice in underground car clubs, where average vehicles can make hypercars blush. But there was another version of the Woodlander out there, one we couldn't have. The Woodlander RS. No, not that kind of RS. I'm not talking about the fake badges Karin throws on minivans and lowered pickup trucks nowadays. I mean the real RS. Yeah, that one. Because they hate the rest of us, Karin of Japan unveiled a Woodlander that was exclusive to its domestic market. One with a better engine, better turbo, better brakes, better suspension, and just about better everything. But don't worry, it still had the Sultan's original sin of head gasket issues. While these things aren't nearly as rare as the infamous two-door Sultan RS's, they will still cost you a pretty penny. But here in Los Santos, it's a JDM importer's heaven, so you're sure to find a few out there. But as we all know, the longer a car is made, the more warped and distorted it becomes. The SUV that wasn't like all the other SUVs quickly became another SUV, leaving Karin to replace it with another Sultan-based vehicle. Today, the Woodlander might be the kind of vehicle for people with motivational water bottles, but it will always be the compact SUV that got it right.